Hi guys, it's that time of the month, my favourite albums of May 2024. So man, what an amazing month. Easily the best month so far of the year for releases. Man, I struggled with this. I really struggled. I had tons of releases to listen to in May. A lot of them coming out at the end of May, so I had to do some homework yesterday as it was the last day of the month. So it's been a mental month. Lucky enough, some of the albums that have made my top 12 I'm going to talk about I'd already reviewed because I got them sent early, so that was a good thing. So I didn't have to catch up on too much. So man, I reckon I had 18-19 albums that could have been in the list, and there was more on top of that that I listened to in the month of May, but really strong month. So there's some that have just gone outside of the list, so that are really strong albums as well. This is the longest list I've done so far, and I think through the months we've had so far this year, I've gone to about 7 or 8 albums at the most. I've gone to 12 here and struggled with that. There's, like I said, there's a couple outside of there as well that I could have easily had on this list. So without further ado, this is my favourite albums of May 2024. In at number 12, we got Cloven Hoof and Heathen Cross. This is a British band formed in 1979, guys. They had a long time away, came back in 2006 and been releasing albums since then. We were basically part of the new wave of British heavy metal scene. This is a heavy, doomy, sometimes really aggressive, melodic heavy album for fans of Priest, Maiden, and particularly, I would say, the Dio and Tony Martin era of Black Sabbath. In at number 11, Knights of the Realm, Darker Than Leather. This is the second album from this Swedish project, if you like. Magnus Henriksson, one of the best guitarists in the world, from Eclipse. The driving force behind this band mainly is classic metal with tongue-in-cheek lyrics at times. It's fun, it's heavy, it's melodic for fans of Judas Priest, Maiden and Eclipse, I would say. In at number 10, Terror Maze, Eli, A Wonderful Fall from Grace, 11th studio album from this Australian prog metal band. This is a concept album. It's actually the third of a story albums earlier on in their career. Amazing musicianship, hooks galore as well. This is catchy as you like, epic, hooky, technically brilliant. For fans of, it's quite difficult, this one, but Evergrey come to mind, I suppose, when I listen to this band. In at number 9, The Treatment and Wake Up the Neighbourhood, the 6th album from this British rock band. Consistency, man, this band. They've got so much consistency. It's such a great band, rocking, fun, energetic. It's a great live feel throughout this whole album, I would say. They've sort of left their sort of AC/DC influence behind a little bit throughout this album, I would say. The AC/DC being the main influence, I would say, throughout their career. But this is sort of veering more towards sort of that Tesla sort of sound as well, which I love. So for fans of Tesla and AC/DC. In at number 8, Sebastian Bach and Child Within the Man. This is the 4th solo album from the ex-Skid Row frontman. Everyone's calling him to go back to Skid Row. Ain't gonna happen, guys. I'll be shocked if it does. Great musicianship throughout this album. Classic metal with a modern touch for sure. The only thing that stopped this going further up on the list is the lack of choruses. If the choruses were as huge as the first couple of Skid Row albums, this might have even made number 1. But the musicianship and the heaviness and the riffing is outstanding. Just missing a few hooks, otherwise it could have been even further up on the list, obviously for fans of Skid Row. In at number 7, Universe 3 and the self-titled album. This is the 3rd album, even though it's a self-titled album. Swedish melodic rock band. The debut album came out in 1985, and this is only their 3rd album, so there's a big gap, obviously, between albums. I mean, it's a good album throughout, but there's a few standout tracks that really push this up to number 7 on the list. Melodic, classic rock for fans of Foreigner and Europe, I would say. So in at number 6, Newman and Colour in Sound. This is the 14th studio album from Newman. Now, this one really came out of nowhere for me. For some reason, I didn't cover it with reactions, but I heard the full album, came out last week, I believe, and I was blown away. It really blew me away. UK melodic rock band, most instruments, including vocals, done by Steve Newman. This is like classic AOR melodic rock. A brilliant album with huge chorus after huge chorus. The hooks are mental for fans of, and I was thinking this album is pretty special, and definitely for fans of, you know, if you miss classic Toto, I would say. I mean, who knows when we're going to get a Toto album? This definitely fills those gaps. You know, it's got those slightly progressive elements, but the more melodic side of Toto. Amazing album. Then we move on to number 5, and Riot 5 and Mean Streets. Album number 17 from this American metal band. Been going since 1977, guys. It's heavy, it's excellently produced, great musicianship, highly addictive, huge choruses throughout this album, consistently great from song to song for fans of Priest, basically with new wave of British heavy metal with a sort of cool New York taste. Amazing stuff. Now, the top 4 are almost like even a step up from the brilliance that I've spoken about already. These 4 are just amazing. They're just top-notch releases that, you know, I can guarantee they're going to be on my album of the year list at the end of the year. Some of the others might as well, but these ones are definitely penned in. They can't move anywhere, I wouldn't have thought. So at number 4, we got Remedy and Pleasure Beats the Pain. The second album from this Swedish melodic hard rock band, expertly produced by Eric Martinson. 10 tracks of heavy but so melodic, soaring songs that are so catchy. It's a stomping anthemic album for fans of Eclipse, Heat, Crash Diet, and also with these top 4 they could move around. It's like they're all brilliant and they could move around to, you know, higher up on the list. So Remedy, great album. Coming in at number 3, Collateral and Should Have Known Better. Man, I love this album. The second album from this British rock band, and one of the best sounding albums on this list as well this year. Variation throughout that makes it such an interesting listen. Sort of little elements of pop thrown into the rock mix, if you like. An outstanding album. So melodic, so energetic. A brilliant album. Coming in at number 2, we got Witherfall and Sounds of the Forgotten. This is the 4th album from this American prog metal band. An outstanding release, my favourite one from them, and they're all so good as well. It's dark, it's melodic, it's totally sort of enthralling the whole listen, and it gets better and better with every one of those listens as well. It's epic, it's technically brilliant for fans of, man, it's hard to compare. There's such an original band, but if you sort of, you know, twisted my arm, you know, they've been compared to Nevermore. I definitely agree with that. A bit of Iced Earth, I suppose. There's some connections there with Iced Earth as well, and Crimson Glory. And coming in at the number 1 spot, you might have guessed it, but man, Nesta and Teenage Rebel. It's the second album from this Swedish band. They've signed now with Napalm Records, so congratulations to the band for that. Well deserved, even better than their debut, and that's saying something. The debut in 2021 was such a surprise, such a huge album, and this one betters it. I mean, it's just mental. The band have a sort of this charm that sort of captivates you as you're listening to it. Every song is a hit. For fans of, well, man, I'll say Heat, Europe, Foreigner, Survivor, they've got this great mix of 80s, the charm of the 80s, but man, they just captivate me, this band. Amazing stuff. Nesta and Teenage Rebel is my number 1 for May 2024. Guys, let me know your favourite albums in the comments below, and I'll see you soon.